And here to get into some NBA. Hey, it's a ridiculously huge slate with still, oddly, a lot of information to come. This is what happens on these slates. Potentially, all these, there's pieces that would change everything. Oddly, the one big piece from early on about Embiid being out, while it changed things, I don't think it's like as clear that you have to play somebody. It is because he's out. I'm going to, but I don't think you have to. So that was the big takeaway that's different from our early show for me. How about you?
Well, first of all, why don't you give everybody a heads up on what we might be waiting for?
So Jason Tatum. The thing is, usually if it was the same situation for any other star, I would assume he wasn't going to play. Because it's Jason Tatum and he's got a whole thing about playing every game, and that's his it's harder for me to believe that he's just going to sit. But it must be truly questionable if we don't know by now. That's what.
When did he go on the injury report?
He was on it all day.
Okay.
He was on it when we first did our show. Initially, it was a place we talked about where something could change. Really, what that does is it doesn't make anyone a must play, oddly enough, but it's hard to ignore Jaylen Brown. And then you do have Jrue Holiday with look, he's a great guy and a team player, and he's not a guy who wants to go jack up 30 shots, but he is. If you want to be vengeful about something, it's learning that you lost your job for a team you just won the title for through social media and not having them communicate with you. This is his first time facing them since that. And I think that's like an interesting other one, obviously, if Tatum's out. Even if Tatum plays, it's not like the worst play. But the other thing is the news from Sacramento is we sort of got some of it. Chris Duarte, the real thing you want, though, is the starting lineup. They're playing against Zion and Joval. Do you really think they're going to put Harrison Barnes on Zion for that long? Or Chris Duarte or Kevin Huerter or De'Aaron Fox? I don't think so. I think you're going to end up seeing, I don't know whether it be Kessler Edwards or Trey Lyles potentially. And these are like the most ridiculous. Like Trey Lyles hasn't played yet this year. Kessler Edwards just played a season high in minutes at 15. But he's 3K and legitimately, like, if we get the other guy out too, and if for any reason he's starting instead of Duarte because of the matchup, which is possible, man. Like, it's really possible. And Duarte still may be a decent play, but man, you want to.
That's what I was getting at. Do you think that Duarte is?
Well, hold the phone. Neesmith and Nembhard are out, so we're going to have to rerun some.
Those guys were in play?
No, it's Indiana. It's the fact that they both play. Well, Neesmith's a starting player at 4,200. He was in play.
Oh, okay.
Nembhard is the backup point guard, so there's minutes at least a little bit seemingly in Indiana. I'm not sure. I think the easy thing is like plays that I thought were a little fishier early on, like Buddy Hield and Bruce Brown, become much better plays than they were. But it's Indy, the good news is, the bad news is we may not have the starting lineup we won't probably have the starting lineup till after the main lock.
Let me ask you about the two plays that I want you to give me your opinions on. And you alluded to one of them before, but tell me what you're going to do or what you think you want to do with Gafford and or Paul Reed.
So I'm going to eat some of the Gafford chalk only because I think the ceiling is high enough. Did I miss something? They must have released the starting lineup. Let me see something. Sorry, Sheets. Lots happening. This is so annoying. Sometimes when we come on, it's like a bunch of stuff happens because did something else happen where somehow Washington released a different starting lineup? Because I just saw Gafford's numbers drop projection-wise. I don't quite get it.
All right, I'll look at it in a few minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what happened? I'm so sorry. I clicked on FanDuel for a second.
Okay.
Gafford is, yes, I'm going to eat the chalk. I think he doesn't have to do much to get there. And I think it's pretty decent chalk. Now, the way that I'm playing it is I'm playing Gafford with a spend up at center and instead of Paul Reed. But I would be willing, I'm playing it with all the way down to the most ridiculous, theoretical play is Mo Bamba. It's Philly. Okay, so again, who else is going to play against Towns and Reed and Gobert? That's the three guys, and two of those guys will be on the court almost the whole game. Okay, so Paul Reed is one of them, but other than that, it's not going to be Melton, Maxey, Harris, Batum. It could be Covington. To be honest, he could match up with Towns, and I think that's like crazy, sneaky, and like payback time for, you know what I mean, like troll game type of stuff. But I think Bamba is in play. I think there's a chance, and I don't think it's out of the question that they do something weird like start Bamba. And
well, that's easy. You know what I mean? If they start him, you can play him. But
that game's not till 8 Eastern.
True. Yeah,
so,
you have to make your decision on those centers before that.
Right. So, but how do you make your decision?
Right.
You know, without knowing, because if not, Mo Bamba may play like no minutes. Covington may play like 30. But something about the projections are a little bit off to me because they're sort of assuming Batum is going to fill that role. I just don't see Batum out there guarding Towns for that much. I can see Covington, and also I'll eat a little, you know, revenge narrative stuff. You always a little extra something. But I still just I don't know. Even still, it feels like you're going to see some. If there's any Mo Bamba and Paul Reed together minutes, that means that Mo Bamba is probably crushing, and he's playing center too. So I just think that's a good speculative play. I currently have it in one of my big buy-ins, but again, there's pivotability in those lineups. I've got at least 4 players that games are starting at 8 Eastern, but I'm playing the slate very differently than, you know, just trying to find the best plays because there's other news. The Tatum news is going to make me move over to Brown, and there's the news you don't know. You don't know what to expect either. There's also that, and the weird role player for Sacramento may dictate some of it. Well, actually, both Lyles and Vezenkov being questionable does affect things because then all of a sudden Kessler Edwards, who's currently projected for a total of 2 fantasy points, if Lyles and Vezenkov or whatever are out, and for some reason Kessler Edwards starts, which is possible, you have a guy. So just that's what I'm saying. Just have pivotability. You know what I mean? And that way you can play Paul Reed and you can play Kessler Edwards if he starts because that's the 8 Eastern theory. Bam is out. Okay.
Who's out?
Bam.
Bam Adebayo is out.
Yeah, I mean, they could just give it to us early in the day for Thanksgiving, like a little Thanksgiving gift.
No, let's.
Ugh. Well, let's just talk about the day then for a minute because I don't know what else to do until we get.
So who's is Udonis Haslem? Is he still on the team?
He's probably still. No, he's finally not on the team anymore. I think he's.
What happened? What happened to Hassan Whiteside?
He's playing somewhere. He's like destroying somewhere in China or something.
Oh, really? He's getting 8 fantasy points a minute in China. It's like
it's the greatest fantasy point per minute guy that somehow has only led to destruction and bad things for his team every time. He's like a worse version of Drummond. This is a tough one. Thomas Bryant is going to be the thing, right? Like, I'm just thinking for a second.
Oh, he's yep. Yep. How many minutes can he actually play, though?
Well, the thing is, he can play minutes like he's done in the past.
What's his price? Is he under 4K?
He's 3K.
Oh, my God.
But he's been playing like 2 and 3 minutes, and he played 3 and then 5. He had 12 before that, 8, 10.
I'm going to tell you something, and this is the word you do not like, but if he is starting, he is a lock.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a general. I don't know that he's a better play than Gafford. I actually think that it's different because Gafford, at least we know his role. The Heat just could be the Heat and say, hey, that's it. We'll throw something else out at you. Like we don't care. They are playing against 2 bigs, but like Jaquez probably could play those minutes. Could be Orlando Robinson who ends up starting. That game's not till 7:30, but I don't think so. It probably is just straight up going to be Thomas Bryant. The weird part is Thomas Bryant hasn't really been backing up Bam.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If he starts, though, it's probably.
But if even when he's played, we've had Bam out, I believe, for a game, right? Am I missing something? I think Bam missed a game, and we thought it would be. I don't know. So it's gonna. I guess delay is part of it, but this all takes away from like my main plays are like I love the stack with Washington and Charlotte. You know what I mean? And yeah, sure, Gafford, but Gafford, Kuzma, Bridges, and Bridges, Ball builds itself. You know what I mean? It's,
Would you play Abdia in those types of game stacks or no?
yeah, and I actually have Abdia separately. I like him a lot as well, especially because he's playing after being questionable. He's another guy who's tough. But I don't think that he should be owned at his ownership. I'm wondering if that's going to change though in a few minutes. I can't imagine there's nothing we'd want to do with Bam out here. I guess Jimmy.
We got to do something.
We go back to the sheets. Now we get to play Jimmy Butler at chalk after we got him.
Yeah, I think so.
As the only guys, I don't think. I mean, okay, you know, and if you want to talk about like, look, you're already missing on the other side. So now we have the lowest total on the slate, which has become like really stackable.
Well, I'll tell you something else. So if
Levert's out,
that's accurate, I'm going to get really just kind of off the path here. Not off the path, I'm just carrying something on. So if that's correct, and that Jimmy Butler does become chalk at what is his price? 8,200? 8,000. Then you know who becomes like legit like 3% owned in an amazing spot, and that would be like Pascal Siakam.
That's right, and he's the one who's also he's in what my biggest buy-in on FanDuel, and he's in my biggest one of my two biggest buy-ins on DraftKings.
Yeah.
Also, Scoot just for FanDuel players, I don't think this is a play you're making on DraftKings, and honestly, I'm still not sure I agree with the projections about it. But he has been playing some in the G League, or he went back to the G League, you know, to try and just, you know, keep fresh. Mm-hmm. And Scoot Henderson is back and supposed to be starting at 5,100. Do with that what you will. Looks like a good FanDuel play at the moment. We'll see. Okay, why all of a sudden did Max Christie's projection jump so much?
Oh, because he got all the run yesterday in blowout.
Yeah, in the blowout time. But like, and I love Christie. I hope they do play. And Reddish is out.
Yeah, we knew that though.
No, but that's what I'm saying though. What changed to where Max Christie became the fourth best?
People are speculating he might start or something.
I don't think anyone speculated. Well,
I don't know. Well, I'm speculating. We're speculating is what people are speculating on. You know what I mean?
There is a way he could start, but it still doesn't do him as much good. Like, because he would start, and then you'd have.
Right.
Reeves just come in off the bench and play all the minutes.
Probably.
I'm not leading. First, for what it's worth, my bet is that LeBron and Anthony Davis both play tonight.
Me too.
And I don't feel I've been right about it. Knock on every time this year so far. For those two, I'm going to be
keep an eye on the starting lineups in Minnesota for Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Yeah, this is tough.
I mean, I presume he's going to start, but why should I presume that? You know,
No. I don't think anybody thinks he's going to. I'm sorry, my fault. I'm jumping games here. Jesus, it's so many games.
Bam Adebayo is in fact out, as you mentioned. Let me just see if there's no way they could make any projection change. They have no idea who's starting.
Yes, I split up Alexander Walker. I don't think you have to, and Naz Reid. Like I just played them separately. The truth is, Kyle Anderson may be the play over there.
I thought of that.
I
actually thought of that.
Oh boy.
NBA is a tough sport, man. NBA for DFS. It's just a tough sport. Three NFL Thanksgiving Day games, but all island games, 3 games slated. That's what I like. What is one of those?
Yeah. I don't even know what to do at the moment. I just want to see things updated. I want to hopefully get some word about starting lineups.
Yeah, and probably won't get it as early as we want it, but let's see what we have here. So, like, did they update anything? No, they didn't even update anything on SaberSim yet for Miami, except to pull what's his name out. So yeah, we just gotta wait. I mean, not a lot to. I mean, you could just go ahead and. I mean, no, you can't. You just can't blast that Washington game until you know what's going on in these later situations.
I think maybe you can do it though, like with four guys or something.
and just hope the game just goes in overtime or something?
I don't think you just open for overtime. It's like the fastest.
No, what I mean is that if the game just goes off, it doesn't really matter if you don't get access to.
Oh yeah, I don't think you're as worried
Like
necessarily.
Thomas Bryant, you know what I mean?
But nothing that's going to happen is going to make Gafford a bad play. So if it's lowering his ownership, sign me up. If you're
well, I mean, he can get
Thomas
hurt.
Bryant is now the highest player on the slate. He hasn't played in 5. He's not even backing up Bam right now.
He could. You know what happened? Daniel Gafford can get hurt for the 400th time during the game.
Yeah. To answer all these questions, Mark Williams or Jared Allen, honestly, like those guys were in play before the day started. You're going to have like centers.
Oh, I have the answer there. I mean, that's
it's Mark Williams, I think.
Yeah, because he's in the game stack. I mean,
yeah, but I think you keep him like. I mean, honestly, it's if I'm going to play a center that's not named, currently based on projections, Bryant, Gafford, Reed, basically none of those guys.
Jokic.
or by the way, and I'm probably going to end up playing some Bryant. I'm just annoyed by it. Then I'm playing, we still don't know. We'll hopefully know if he starts. But what if, if Mo Bamba starts, I'll be playing Mo Bamba. So if you're not playing one of the 4 spend downs, assuming none of that happens, I would rather just play the Şengün.
Yeah.
Or even like probably Vooch. I don't think it's bad with Williams. I just think I would rather, maybe not Vooch, but I probably would go a little bit higher. I currently have double centers in all my builds, and most of them include these cheap mother effers. Am I really gonna be the idiot though who switches off of Mo Bamba and Mo Bamba comes off the bench and puts up 50, and what's his name starts and plays 10 minutes? Thomas Bryant.
It's possible.
Ugh. Well, maybe I can win the fadeaway with it.
Yeah, something like that.
I'll keep it in something. So Aldama, I do like those still. I'm gonna have to change up some things.
Aldama?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, the 6100 is fair. I don't think any of these other centers are going to be owned though anymore. So maybe now I take back the Mark Williams thing just based on that he's not going to be owned anymore. I don't think. Because we won't know if Thomas Bryant's starting or not.
By the time the 7:00 game starts, you know they?
Yeah. And what's weird is the guy who's going to score the most fantasy points on the slate is going to be literally like 1% owned.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, maybe if you don't play any of those cheapos, just play Jokic.
Yeah, maybe that's the right thing. I mean, he's literally projected 8.5 fantasy points higher than anybody else on the slate and projected to be completely like no one's going to play him.
That is true.
That's pretty amazing. I have Thomas Bryant at 28 right now.
Oh, you have a projection?
Yeah, that's what Sabre. Oh no, they moved it down to 24. They switched it.
So I guess he's starting.
No, they're just assuming he's starting.
Yeah. What other guys could get into that game from Miami?
So there's no hero too. I don't care. Somebody said Duncan Robinson scored 31 fantasy points the last time. Great, good for him. I don't want 31 fantasy points at 5,800.
No, not tonight.
Not tonight. Curry, I didn't really like the Curry play. That I think I said sometimes it's here. Like, I mean, that was amongst many, many things. I don't think I ever really loved Curry. Didn't have him in any of my builds that I posted. So
okay, so with these other Miami guys, I'm getting Saberson also has a 17-point projection from Orlando Robinson.
How much?
17.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that it could end up being him.
And a power forward, 3,600 Haywood Highsmith is getting an 18. Caleb Martin.
The Haywood Highsmith thing is just a real roll of the dice, and we have to kind of think like even when guys are out, he's played like plenty of 30+ minute games and put up like 5 fantasy points.
Right.
But occasionally he'll get the 5 steals and 2 blocks and get there. But it really is not benefiting him by somebody, you know what I mean? He can see his rebounding upside.
All these guys. What about the Jaime Jaquez?
Jaime Jaquez is going to get minutes. Yes. Remember, get used to his name. Put some respect on this man.
How do you pronounce it?
Jaime Jaquez.
Jaime Jaquez. Okay.
He's going to be.
Can't call him Triple J.
No,
Why not?
because he doesn't have 3 J's.
Yes, he does. Jaime Jaquez Jr.
Oh, you're right. But then you're Triple Junior. Is that what we're calling him? I like it.
Same as Jaren Jackson Jr. It's Triple J, same thing.
Yeah, but we can't have 2 Triple J's, so we can call him
Yeah,
Triple
let's play the
Junior.
one. Let's play the one that doesn't foul out every game I play him. How about that? We'll play Jaime. We'll give him the nickname. I mean, you got to be on the court to get the nickname, right? I mean, like, and Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr. is injured. So while he's injured, I think this is the new Triple J.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Shea, I don't have one lineup with Shea. He doesn't cross my mind. It's literally the worst matchup in all of basketball. He's going to have Caruso guarding him basically the majority of his minutes. The Bulls are the number 1 team in the NBA against point guards. If you're going to play Shea on a 14-game slate like tonight, you either don't pay attention to that stuff or you just are playing him just because his name is Shea. I don't know.
Shea's a cool name, though.
He's really good too. But you've got LaMelo in a nuts type of matchup. He is a pivot off of that, but I just don't see why I would play him tonight. All in LaMelo. I don't think you're all in anybody tonight except for
Triple J.
No, I don't know if you're all in anybody tonight, to be honest with you. PJ Washington is out for what it's worth. Didn't we know that already? Thank you. I appreciate it, but I think we knew that. Yeah, we did. That's why the projections for Brandon Miller and Hayward stayed and why Bridges still looks like a great play even at 7,200.
Because
PJ Washington is out.
Okay. Stuff on State Kings. I should be charged like negative 90% for tonight's slate. This is so hard.
It's ridiculous. It's going to all come down to the late swapping information, starting lineups. The thing that's okay with you kind of because whether it's Robinson, it's funny because Roto Grinders has Robinson, the NBA has Robinson. I'm guessing by the projection. I'm not looking at Roto Grinders projection, but I get a guess that their projection has Robinson and Bryant close. One of those guys is going to get there. Like your 3K, you're going to get there. But is getting there enough? Can Gafford put up 35 or 40? Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Do you just play one of them with Gafford or you play one of them with Mo Bamba?
Mo Bamba is a thing, huh?
That's me making it a thing because there's fluctuation. I don't know but I don't know what any of these guys' minutes are going to be. These guys don't play. All of our top plays don't actually play minutes. So, yeah. For what it's worth, I still think that I actually would like Bryant not starting at lower ownership. So I might actually just play Bryant either way. You know what I mean?
I'm just gonna keep waiting. I think
it's just so. But yeah, unfortunately, you're not gonna know this one until 7:30 Eastern.
Kill some time, put some stuff in State Kings, I guess.
All right, guys. If you want to ask other questions, but we could talk about stuff. I don't really know what to do after all this. I don't know where to project this Miami situation. It's just such a weird game.
I'm just gonna wait.
I mean, if you just said though, but the problem is the prices would be different because we still don't know about LeVert.
No, we don't.
If LeVert is out, look, Darius Garland and Jared Allen, but Jared Allen again because the center position probably not in it for me. But Darius Garland is in play. Craig Porter Jr. is a great play if Karis LeVert is out.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
And Max Struss revenge against a short-handed Heat team with no size. Actually, Jared Allen, I don't know, man. Maybe he was onto something. Maybe you do play Jared Allen and Mark Williams because this is the problem with these slates. And I'm not going to do that, but I think that is totally viable. Just to say F this stuff and let's just play the 6K guys who can get us 45 and maybe those other guys.
Let's just stack the Charlotte game. How about that?
Let's just go back to the original first thought of the day.
Stack the Charlotte game and hope the power outage everywhere else. We'll do a big T stack. We'll play 3 on each side and just be and then just go be done with it. We'll be in first place for a little while, and then we'll see what happens.
Jimmy Butler is going to be like 35-40% owned. I'm telling you.
They could get not that. Well, I was going to say that
They could get smoked.
They could get smoked, as could freaking the Sixers.
Yeah, but I don't think that they're. I don't think. I mean, Miami's still tough. We see this with them without players.
Every single time, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah. But they sometimes don't really care about regular season games. So I don't know. It's and it is. I don't know. It's a beaten up Cleveland team. It would be such an FU to go beat them without. But still, like Miami's more shorthanded in a sense. But if LeVert is out too, it's pretty wild.
So we're waiting on LeVert for openers.
Mm-hmm.
And before that, we have to decide on. Well, I'm not playing anybody from Orlando and Denver. I have to decide on whether I want to play the Washington, Charlotte, or how much of it. I got to play some of it. I mean,
yeah. So I have a lot of it right now, and Gafford. I have it ranked Gafford on the Washington side. Gafford, Kuzma, who is going to be completely unowned, by the way.
He will. That is correct.
And it can put up 60 in this matchup. I know he just did, and it's not ideal. People are going to play Jordan Poole because the price and positional stuff. I would rather play Kuzma, but I've been trying the Poole thing, and it's just the guy scored. He took 30 shots the other night, and he still scored 35 fantasy points. I don't need that.
No, the guy just can't seem to produce.
Yeah. But the Charlotte side is interesting. Bridges is I think the most obvious play, and I think LaMelo ends up really low on now. Well, I know there's value, but I think people will. I wonder if people are going to end up going to Luka, or if they're going to stick with. I think it's really tough to project right now, to be honest.
This Doug Christie, not Doug Christie, the other one, the Max Christie could be.
Yeah,
I mean, people are gonna. I think someone's gonna be live with Max Christie somehow.
Tatum is in.
Tatum. Okay. Okay. I totally forgot about that. Thank God.
Yeah. Kings Pelicans, sort of the sneaky game that I don't think people are going to play much of. If I had to play anyone, I like Monk on FanDuel is like he's in my biggest buy-in. He's 5,200. I'll play him over there. I would like to see what happens with their starting lineup, to be honest with you. Because I just don't believe you're going to send out Harrison Barnes to guard Zion. Like, I just have a hard time imagining how you're going to plan to do that. So I wouldn't be shocked to see a guy out of the blue start, which would give another 3K center in Trey Lyles or JaVale McGee, or the weird Kessler Edwards play, which is actually not that weird and might become like the other cool value you get at forward.
I'll tell you who the other
But even Kessler Edwards can't guard these guys. Who are they?
Let's not forget to play Tyrese Maxey also.
Yeah, absolutely. I was, at 9K.
What is this Max Christie business? Like, this current run I'm getting is getting me like 40% Max Christie.
I think it's a good play for late swappers. I don't really
want
to
get a projection even of like 17.9 on SaberSim. Where did that come from?
Yeah, I told you. That's what I was saying. It was like an 11 to start today.
Let's see some of his their. Let me drill down here.
We already knew what's his name was out.
I know. I wanted to see how many minutes they're projecting him for. They're projecting him for 27 minutes. That's very healthy.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out.
That is extremely healthy projection, sir.
Yeah, I'll probably bite because of the late game.
They definitely have him starting because they have a 99th percentile of 36 minutes for him. I don't believe. I'm not a believer, but like I said, it's a late swap thing, so we could always deal with it later.
Yeah, Fred, that's just because projections haven't updated because nobody's ownership projections are going to be accurate. Is Gary Harris a good value play? Never. If you play Gary Harris, you're just giving money away, in my opinion.
Gary Harris
is kind of a slate on a 14 gamer. Now I've won money with Gary Harris on little 2 and 3 gamers and stuff, but Gary Harris off the bench at 4,200 would be one of the worst plays on the slate.
like 5 hours ago, like Cam Johnson was like a good play.
Yeah.
We were worried about Cam Johnson being too chalky.
Yeah.
Dinwiddie, we talked about him some. I mean, just the wrong slate right now. Chris Duarte, we still don't know.
He's supposed to play. He practiced this morning. We just don't know if he's starting. Yeah, I could bite a little bit on the Max Christie idea. There's a lot of talk around him, and the fact that he played well they won by 1 million. They were already up by 1 million, and you lose Reddish. I could see why they would like him.
So we're still waiting on Cleveland for openers.
Yeah,
and that's a big deal.
Also, starting lineups for like Indiana could be a big deal.
Right.
I have zero interest in DeAndre Ayton.
I have some interest in Zach LaVine.
I have no problem with that.
Yep. Just a little, well, no one's paying attention. Maybe he pops off for 50,
Yeah, 100%, man. It's a good matchup for it, too.
Yeah. More Toronto guys that I didn't mention. Just in a fast-paced game, OG Anunoby is always good for some activity.
I've got him as tied for my highest owned player when we came.
And there you have it. Okay.
But I think I'm going to, we'll see. I may start just going a lot more stars and Scrubsy.
Yeah, what's going to happen? What's going to happen when Jokic has 25 fantasy points after the first quarter?
Yeah, I'm not worried. What's that?
I'm just saying, when Jokic has, let's say, 30 fantasy points after the first quarter, why don't I have him? And then he'll get 80 and still won't make it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know Dort would guard LaVine. He won't only guard LaVine, though. He'll guard DeRozan. He'll also guard Kobe White some. Yeah, Maxey, it's a tough match. It's hard to, but I can see that. I think that if you're going to bet that game, I worry about the blowout, but I could also see Philly just blazing. They're without Embiid, they can play so fast.
It's a good point.
And the over seems like an
well, then you know what you should do? You should play freaking Anthony Edwards.
I wanted to, and you could play Edwards on the other side of Reed, Harris, and probably
Maxey.
Harris. I'm sorry, Maxey, Melton, or Harris, and Reed.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Anything else? Because I'm probably going to bounce pretty soon and just try to dig a little bit, and I will enter whatever I do into the, my general stuff in the premium Discord.
Once again, I do feel I'm sorry about the lack of insight I can give anybody on these live shows, but just so much freaking happens, that I'm just ready to listen. I'm just ready to fire off and do Saberson builds and react, but unfortunately, everybody's got to do it at the same time I am, so it's just kind of like weird content. That's the best I can describe this.
Yeah. And by the way, even though we talked about the Max Christie projections, because the way the slate is sort of shaping up, he's actually his ownership is like still sub 10%. Max Christie.
Paul Reed, I'm getting all kinds of Paul Reed on FanDuel. Is he much cheaper there?
He's 4,500 over there. It makes sense. Yeah. I think just not playing him on FanDuel is already a way to get different. Or either of the cheap guys. If you just spend up at center.
And what's his name is still cheap over there, by the way, James Harden.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at FanDuel as like some not differentiators, like different types of players that we don't talk about in draft.
Malik Monk, Scoot Henderson.
Yep. Gordon.
Where do you have Scoot at sheets?
Not much here. Let me just see. Oh yeah, I got to redo him. I didn't have him in actually.
Yeah, that's what I think the The news was.
He's officially in now?
I don't know if it's official, but it's definitely they have him as projected to play wherever I looked to start.
I will update that when I can. Yeah, Paul Reed is going to be tough to fade over there.
Well, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Just because.
I understand.
Get my 60 from Shangun or something.
Let's reset. Let me just see what I have Scoot at now. Scoot Henderson. Oh, there he is. They had to give him a projection now. Okay, so I gotta redo that. Yeah, we're pretty interesting. It has nothing to do with NBA or anything like that. But if you guys want to check it out, I interviewed. I got an update with Sowers. We talked to him 6 months ago about the stuff he was doing with the virtual horse racing stuff, and then we had him on talk about DFS. He was telling me that he tried to get back to DFS. He's getting just smoked, and he wanted to know, what's going on. I'm like, dude, he's making like 30,000 in this. He made like 100,000 in the virtual horse racing thing over the last year and a half. And I'm like, dude, stick with that, man. You have such a big edge there. You can't just jump into DFS out of nowhere, and you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. All right, well, I'll check that out for sure. And yeah, guys, good luck tonight. Playing Jolly's playing Grady Dick. I have no idea why. I honestly don't understand what's happening.
Really?
With some of the ideas, the Grady Dick idea. Yeah, projected for about 10 minutes.
That's not a lot.
No.
He's not really playing Grady.
Maybe not. It must be a joke, but I don't know.
He's not playing.
I don't know. The other guys he suggested was Gary Harris.
All I know is I have to play him then.
He clearly wanted to spend it down. If you're going to do that, any of those guys, play Max Christie instead.
The Max Christie thing.
Oh, no, over those guys. Are you kidding me? At least that's speculative. At least there's something there.
Right.
These guys are literally in the worst situation they've basically been in this season. And now is not the time to play. And they're more expensive.
By the way, just so you guys know for tomorrow, I'm gonna update football stuff. I might actually, I'm around like from pretty much all the first game. I might even go live at some point tomorrow before the slate starts. Because I'm here until I don't leave here for Thanksgiving until like 3:30. Until like after the first game ends. So I might do something. I will let everybody know if in fact that happens.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to everybody and happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys have a great time. Hope somebody wins all the money tonight.
All of it.
All of it. All right, Sheets. Have a good one, buddy.